Alright, welcome back everybody. I'm Music Nerd here. And you know what? I haven't done these type of videos in a while, these hip-hop connection videos. If you're new to the channel, Hip Hop Connection is a series that I've done in the past where I talk about non-hip-hop artists and their connection to hip-hop. Whether it's artists like Steely Dan or Kurt Cobain or even painters such as Basquiat. Thinking about who I should cover in this series next, I thought about Madonna, and now stay with me here, I know it's a random choice, but Madonna's hip hop connection runs a lot deeper than you think. Now, for those of you who are under the age of 25, you may think of Madonna as this old white woman who wears these gaudy suits and jewelry, but let me remind you, when I was younger, Madonna was the biggest pop star in the world. She was one of the most famous people in the world. Every music video had a world premiere. Every song was #1 on the radio. I mean, she was a cultural phenomenon, not just for females, but really one of the most influential people in terms of style and image and fashion, movies, music. I mean, she was it. She was the it person. Even to her 5-decade career, she has always shown a love for hip hop, both figuratively and literally. Listen. Not yet. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into all of that. So we're gonna tackle Madonna's hip hop connection, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But before I get into it, if you enjoy the content in these videos, please show your support. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button down below. And if you're a return subscriber, always turn on the notification bell to be alerted for new content. So Madonna, before she became Madonna, you're the famous pop star, she did work her way around dance clubs, and she was opening up for artists such as Tina Marie. When she was coming up in the scene, she was affiliated with the breakdancing scene that was becoming a phenomenon, especially in New York clubs. And breakdancing was kind of the emblem for early hip-hop at the time. It became a cultural phenomenon. It was a local phenomenon that turned into a national phenomenon by the mid-1980s. And this is featured prominently in one of Madonna's first music videos, Borderline. And in this music video, you see, actual breakdancers from all types of backgrounds, Black, Latino. And even this video, when you look back at it, it's very groundbreaking. Her tackling the perils of womanhood and interracial relationships way before hip-hop really started popping off. You can see the hip-hop influences and aesthetic influencing her work. Just a year later, when she became a huge star, she dropped Like a Virgin, Material Girl, and she became one of the biggest pop stars in the world. She had her first big tour, Like a Virgin tour. And not a lot of people know this, but the opening act for her Virgin tour was none other than the Beastie Boys. That's right, the Beastie Boys. Pre-licensed to ill Beastie Boys. Now, you may be asking, what the hell is Beastie Boys doing for opening up a Madonna tour? And I think a lot of people would ask that same question. And as you can imagine, Beastie Boys' tough guy, sophomore, frat boy attitude did not really vibe well with Madonna's teeny bop audience. Beastie Boys would go up on stage and they would do these lewd acts and just make these penis gestures. But with all that being said, even though they faced a lot of criticism during their acting tour, and Beastie Boys themselves have said in numerous interviews that they hated being on the tour, that it just did not click with Madonna. You have to give Madonna credit in some respects because, Popstar would not have had a rapper opening up for them. Even Michael Jackson or Prince, they would not have had Run DMC or Public Enemy open for them. It just would not click at all. But Madonna took risk, as she always done in her career, and this gave Beastie Boys a lot of exposure, and it created the momentum for them to release License to Ill, and as we all know, that put them on the map, and the rest is history. But this was the first taste of stardom that the Beastie Boys had. At the time, them transitioning from a punk rock act to a hip-hop act. Fast forward to the 90s, where hip-hop really became a national phenomenon. Hip-hop really started to influence other types of music, and it became to a point where the biggest pop stars just could not escape hip hop. They had to use the genre in their own work to stay relevant. You know, like I said, Janet Jackson did it. Prince started having hip hop influence in his work. Michael Jackson. And, you know, Madonna, as the 90s grew on, she became more comfortable with featuring a lot of hip hop aesthetics in her music and her image. You know, she worked with a lot of producers who dabbled in hip hop, and she even dated rappers.
You inducted Tupac into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, am I correct? He was a great artist and a good-looking dude, too, right?
Fly.
This guy really got a ton of pussy, right? I mean, he really did.
Can I fuck you up real quick?
Please.
One time before he was on Death Row Records, when he was just my homeboy, after we had met at the Poetic Justice rap party, I was in New York, and I was doing Saturday Night Live, and he was out here, and he was like, "What's up, my nigga, where you at?" I'm like, "I'm at Saturday Night Live." I'm like, "I ain't got no dope." That's when it was hard getting weed over here, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I'm like, "Cuz, I ain't got no dope, cuz." He was like, "Don't worry about a motherfucking thing, nigga. I'm coming to Saturday Night Live. I'll be there in a minute." So he pulls up, but guess who he pulls up with?
Who?
Like a virgin.
No kidding. Oh, that's right.
Like
She told us
For
too.
the very first time.
Yeah, Madonna.
He shows up with Madonna, man.
Yeah.
And he comes in. He's got a big bag of that do-it fluid. He tells her, "Have a seat." She looks at me. I look at her. I say, "Oh, wow. That's Madonna. Back to you, Pac. But yeah, let me get that dope about you." He said, "Yeah, me and we finna ride out of here, you understand me?" Showing me that he was elevated in the game.
Wow. He brought Madonna to Saturday
Man,
Night Live.
please, man, to bring me some Disno. She was just riding along for the ride.
There have been rumors in the past that her and Tupac used to go out, and the fact that she actually went out and confirmed it definitely set social media ablaze. Now, mind you, this was the 90s, right? Pre-social media, internet was kind of still around, but not yet. People could kind of keep their private lives private, obviously. Now, this was 2021, and news broke out that Tupac had dated Madonna. I mean, people will go fucking insane. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost amazing that that wasn't even public knowledge back then, because even back then that would be insane. But she credited Tupac for kind of influencing her look, for kind of making her be edgy again. You know, if you listen to the song Human Nature,
Express yourself, don't repress yourself. Express yourself, don't repress yourself.
and even look at the video, she's sporting cornrows, the sound of it, I think a critic said that it sounded like Dr. Dre's G-Funk. Yeah, you definitely hear that type of G-Funk, you know, especially with Dr. George popular at that time in 94, 95. But it wasn't really until the 21st century that Madonna began to openly accept working with actual rappers and hip-hop producers. If you take a look at the album Hard Candy, you know, she's collaborating with Timbaland on the song 4 Minutes. But for somebody like Madonna to give that approval to Timbaland is a big deal. Collaborating with the likes of Lil Wayne, Nas, Kanye West. By doing this, she was kind of saying, I think hip hop is dope. Let's talk about the song American Life. So that album came out in 2003. I remember this period very clearly, right? This is like around the time when Madonna performed at the VMAs and she had that controversial kiss with Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, and then Missy Elliott was there awkwardly to appear. But this is when Madonna was trying to be edgy again, right? She was trying to do more hip-hop stuff. In this song American Life, it is very cringy to listen to it as you hear a Madonna rap breakdown near the end of this song, talking about soy lattes and getting fit, and I'm sorry, it's one of the widest things I've ever heard in music in my lifetime. It is just abysmal. And listen, you know, Madonna, she is garnered a lot of respect from a lot of people, but this is one of her lowest moments. Don't ever do this again, Madonna. I beg you, do not ever rap again. I think the fact that she was so openly embraced by hip-hop comes from the fact that she didn't really give a fuck, you know? And hip-hop's whole attitude is challenging the status quo, especially back in the 80s and 90s. And we have artists like Public Enemy telling people to fight the power, and, you know, Run DMC, and all these different types of artists just challenging norms and scaring a lot of people. While Madonna was a big pop star, she was not without controversy either. You know, she wasn't this squeaky clean pop star. Like, no, she did a lot of stuff that raised a lot of eyebrows.
It was the so-called publishing event of the century, the drop of Madonna's racy coffee table book, Sex. And only E.T. has the inside story behind the book that left people shook, straight from the Material Girl herself.
You mean you didn't read the text?
Donna put together a book of explicit photography featuring the chart topper herself. And it wasn't long before people all over the world became obsessed.
I think the reaction is, you know, pretty much what I expected. In American society, we read a lot of sexual fantasies, but they're always from the male point of view. And I don't think there's a lot of women that are coming out and, you know, sort of giving the female point of view.
One of the most famous photos in that book had Big Daddy Kane was with her and Naomi Campbell, and I'm not gonna show it on this video, but go Google Madonna and Big Daddy Kane, and it's right up there. It's front and center. Vanilla Ice was also in this book. I mean, you can air quote call him a rapper, but for the sake of this video and the point I'm trying to get across, she was openly, indirectly acceptive of hip-hop. But anyways, going back to my original point, I think by doing stuff like this, and of course Like a Prayer music video, she demonstrated that she was always challenging the status quo. You know, she was willing to risk her career to stand up for herself and to be openly feminist and to stand up for the causes that she believes in. Now, as we go into the 2010s, Madonna is still working with tons of hip-hop artists and producers. Before we get into that, let's talk about the infamous Madonna Drake photo that happened. Now, Drake, on his If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, had a song called Madonna. And Madonna took this as flattery, saying that she was sliding in Drake's DMs, asking him to date her. To my knowledge, I don't think Drake said yes. But then again, there's a lot of stuff that Drake's done that we don't know, the public has not known about. But that's another story for another day. But this photo showing Madonna at a Drake concert, kissing Drake, and garnered a lot of social media attention. You know, everybody went wild over it, and from the looks of Drake, I don't think he liked this. Drake did not like this one bit. I don't think he was expecting this at all. I don't know if Drake was paying tribute to Madonna per se. I think he was referencing cocaine, and you know, with cocaine, they always like use white celebrities, especially white women, as code for cocaine. I mean, check out Hannah Montana, for example, Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, you know, all these type of things. So I don't think Drake was talking about being with Madonna. I think Madonna read that wrong. But like I said, she's fearless. She's going to do what she wants. So the 2012 Super Bowl halftime show, another one of those moments where Madonna kind of had her comeback single with Bitch I'm Madonna. Personally, I don't like the song too much, but that was her last top 10 single. And on that song, she collaborated with Nicki Minaj, and the halftime show, she, you know, had Nicki Minaj and CeeLo Green and MIA. Now, having two prominent female rappers on her halftime show, giving her that exposure, I mean, Nicki Minaj was not what she is today, was a great thing to do. And when you look at Nicki Minaj, she is definitely influenced by Madonna, without a doubt. Nicki Minaj being a chameleon, changing up her looks, kind of the in-your-face attitude, the brash attitude, getting the controversy, sexual innuendos. I mean, yeah, Nicki Minaj, Madonna, that couldn't have worked out any more perfectly. In the mid-2010s, Madonna decided to collaborate with Kanye West on a new album, Rebel Heart. And I would say this album is probably the most hip-hop inspired that Madonna has ever been to that point. In interviews, she said that she thinks Kanye is one of her favorite artists, and even though she doesn't agree with all of his opinions and ideas, she thinks the music industry needs him, and that she praises his brash and unique attitude towards the music business, which is why she decided to work with him. And listen, as I said in my last video, Kanye West is no stranger to controversy, so I think these two can definitely share a commonality on that front. Having Nas coming on this record and this one of the songs, Vini Vidi Vici, talking about their careers, definitely will not picture the Madonna Nas collaboration when I was younger, but I think it's pretty cool that that happened. And then as you go towards her most recent album, Madonna X, she's collaborating with Sway Lee. Madonna, like I said, trying to stay relevant, she has openly acknowledged the fact that hip-hop is a great genre, it is here to stay, and she is working and giving light to younger artists that she thinks they're cool. I would say that this period of Madonna is definitely the most connected she's ever been to hip-hop. Regardless of what you think about the music, to see her being 60 years old, to show her still taking chances, to still trying to take on new trends, to still trying to be forever young, it's somewhat admirable. So yeah, that is Madonna's Hip Hop Connection. Tell me what you think in the comments section. I'm curious to know what you think. YouTube recommends these two reviews to check out after this one. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. Until next time, peace.